Hello there and a very good afternoon to you. Many thanks to join us in Superscreen's Media News, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adinike Owoye Ajiboye. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on the World Health Organization (WHO) to make Nigeria a priority. Osinbajo said it has become imperative for Nigeria to be considered as priority owing to its population growth, which, according to him, will cause many challenges in the country. This comes just as the National Population Commission revealed recently that Nigeria's population grew by nearly 50 million in 12 years. Osinbajo made the request when he received the Director General of WHO, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, the regional directors, and other global policy group members of the organization at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Osinbajo said Nigeria will ensure that its plan for the health sector will correspond with the WHO goals. On polio eradication, Professor Osinbajo promised the WHO members that Nigeria will continue to work with relevant stakeholders with a fair amount of success to reach vulnerable children in areas made inaccessible due to insecurity. The Senate has suspended Senator Ovie Omo-Agege for 90 legislative days after questioning the Senate on the Electoral Act amendment seeking to alter the election sequence. This follows the presentation of a report by Senate Ethics Committee, which recommended that Omo-Agege be suspended for 181 days. However, the Senate resolved to reduce the length of his suspension and asked him to withdraw the court case instituted against the Senate.
The committee is of the opinion that the action by Senator Ovie Omo-Agege of going to court after apologizing to the Senate was totally unacceptable, especially as an experienced lawyer and member of the committee who is conversant with the modus operandi of the same, and therefore must be punished to serve as a deterrent to others who might contemplate taking the Senate to court over its internal matters. Recommendation: having carefully and fully exhausted all sides to the matter and the inherent implication therefrom for today and the future of the National Assembly, the committee recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate Ovie Omo-Agege be suspended for 181 legislative days from the date this resolution is taken.
The Senate also disbanded the parliamentary support group that Senator Omo-Agege and embattled Senator Abdullahi Adamu belonged to.
Anybody to come here and go and give press conference and say that the Senate has taken a position against Mr. President, it is the most uncharitable thing anybody can do. It does not befit his office as a senator. But happily enough, Senator Omo-Agege came here and had the courage to apologize over that statement. But it's much more than that. There are some sections in this country where you dare not talk against the president. And there are senators from that place. By implication is that he is putting the life of these senators at risk.
A member of this family went to court, maybe in desperation, thinking a drastic action will be taken against him. For me, I will suggest that he withdraws the court action and we don't suspend him. Mr. President, let's focus on making ourselves each other's keeper.
Let Omo-Agege withdraw his case from the court. Let those people that form this, whatever name they call it, let them dissolve it. And the president of this country, even if they don't, the president should tell them to dissolve it, because they are his greater enemies than even the people that are not in the in what do you call it in the group.
There must be discipline. That is the only paper where the leader, I agree, there must be. We must show that such group must be suspended. The case in court also must be withdrawn. And in consideration of that, we can look at leniency on what is being recommended. Distinguished colleagues, what that is, I'll put for you to make a recommendation going forward. I think by that we'll have captured one, no more of these kind of groups in this Senate.
You will recall that Senator Omo Agege had at a press conference insisted that the proposed change in the sequence of election is targeted against President Muhammadu Buhari as the 2019 general election approaches. In another development, Senate President Bukola Saraki says the Senate is committed to implementing the 35% action, which says the inclusion of women in appointment and elective positions in government. Saraki, who disclosed this when he received a delegation of the Conference of Female Parliamentarians in Nigeria at the Senate House, said there is urgent need for a paradigm shift that will give room for women's participation in the country's politics.
I know one of the key issues, of course, is the gender equality bill, that I know you will have had it quicker and faster than this. But I believe when these kind of major issues are being done, sometimes it looks as if it is taking longer than expected. But I believe that at the end of the day, it's the result that matters. And I think it's important that we ensure that every part of the country has that understanding. I always say that in legislation, sometimes, as you all know, you might go in with 10, 15 requests in a bill, or sometimes you negotiate and see, because it doesn't begin and end there. It's something you do in steps and strides. Get where we get to a point, and I think everybody is on board on this issue of gender affirmation of 35%, and we must strive to see that that happens in both in the area of appointment and elective as much as possible.
Reacting on the inclusion of women in appointments and elective positions in government, the women parliamentarians spoke on the importance of the delegation visit to the Senate.
We need greater political will from the policymakers, from the lawmakers, to be able to achieve the 35% affirmative action. And that's why we are here. Politicking has started now. And if we don't come now, before you know it, the men will take all the positions and they will leave us behind. A lot of us have done 3-4 times in the Houses of Assembly. We want to move up to the next level too. Of course. We are great planners, we are great thinkers, we are articulate, we are composed, we are focused, we are mothers. We want to grow Nigerian nation. We are not interested in corruption or destruction. We want to grow Nigerian nation. And that is why the conference of all Nigerian female state parliamentarians are here to let the Senate President know our mind.
We are a very strong group advocating for inclusion of women in elective and appointive positions in the country. You will agree with me that the diminishing effect of women participation in politics is even affecting the growth and development of Nigeria. And until women, there is a deliberate attempt by those policymakers or those who are in charge to make sure that women are given, are allowed, given free hands, free playing ground to contest and win election, and we have equal number of women and men in decision making. We will not improve in this slow pace of development of Nigeria.
Nigerian women parliamentarians speaking there on the importance of women's inclusion in elective position in government. And now moving on, the House of Representatives Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness has summoned Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the Head of Service of the Federation, Winfred Oyo-Ita, over the suspension of 6 directors of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. NEMA. The committee also summoned the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu. You will recall that the directors were suspended last week when the House began investigation into the expenditure of 17.8 billion naira by NEMA under the watch of its Director General Mustafa Mehaja. The suspended directors are Director of Finance and Accounts Akimbola Gbolahan, the Acting Director Special Duties Umese Imenike, and Director Risk Reduction Al-Hazan Nuhu. Others are the pilot in charge of Air Ambulance and Aviation Unit, Maman Ibrahim, the Chief Maintenance Officer, Ganiyu Deji, and the Director of Welfare, Kanar Mohammed. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested one Michael Obasui for alleged 11.4 billion naira fraud. According to the EFCC, the suspect had written a petition against a mobile company in March 2018, but the mobile firm wrote a counter-petition to the EFCC, thereby causing the commission to probe him. The EFCC said in a statement that Obasui, who is the managing director of Platinum, a multi-purpose cooperative society limited, and Smart Micro Limited, was found to have allegedly perpetrated several acts of fraud. It was also alleged that the company configured an additional outbound fund transfer solution called FundGate in 2017, which required a Smart Micro to maintain a pre-funded settlement account with a first-generation bank for settlement of account it had initiated. A former Minister of State for Works, Dayo Adeyeye, says all the governorship aspirants on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP in Ekiti State, have resolved to form an alliance against the candidate of the state governor, Ayodele Fayose. Fayose has named his deputy, Kolapo Olusola, as his preferred candidate for the election. Adeyeye disclosed this to journalists in Abuja when he visited the national headquarters of the party to submit his nomination form. The PDP has fixed May 8 for the conduct of its primary, where the party's candidate will emerge. Road users in Lagos State have called on Governor Akinwumi Ambode to find an urgent solution to the trailers, trucks and oil tankers parked on the Western Avenue Bridge in Ojuelegba. They made the call in an interview with Superscreen while reacting on the continuous traffic jam in Lagos State. The report. The recent traffic gridlock in Lagos State might be unconnected to the road projects being carried out by the Lagos State government. But the uncommon traffic jam daily experienced on the roads leading to Lagos Island has been attributed to the trailers, trucks and oil tankers lined up or parked on the ever-busy Ojuelegba Bridge down to Costain, a situation that has led to many motorists groaning on the same spot for hours in trying to get to their destination, either to the island or from the island to the mainland. The incessant traffic bottleneck also has impacted negatively on commercial activities of citizens, the state and even investors, and it is believed that the directive given by the Lagos State government for the tanker drivers would be enforced to eliminate the current hardship being faced by motorists. These Lagos residents share their views.
Those articulated vehicles are a major cause of traffic on this end of the road, and until they were removed, we might still be witnessing some of these kind of issues about traffic causing more man-hour, loss of man-hour to people getting to their work very late, people not being able to do their business optimally. If you stay too long on that bridge, the bridge are dangling, they are floating, you understand, and this is dangerous. The calamity or whatever is going to happen might not be able to be controlled. Articulated vehicles are not meant for no reason at all to be parking on the bridge. So the government need to do something and do something fast. And the allegation has always been going, it is not the common man that are parking this vehicle there. Those are the people that owns this country. Those are the people that are doing things in this country. And I don't think anybody should be more than the government in this country.
It's tanker drivers and bad whole roads that cost a lot. But if people keep on to their lane, you know, if trailers should keep on to one lane, and then the traffic will be flowing. The defect is that they now delayed us from reaching our home on time, so that we're prepared to come to work the following day.
The issue of tankers has a very bad implication in the society, not only in the area of traffic, as well as in the economy. It does not allow economic development to move. Look at the tankers. People that wants to go about their businesses may not have the time to go. So they should be able to do something to reduce the influx of tankers. Tankers has been here. In fact, if not because of the magnanimity of Lagos State government, the situation could have been worse. Because why I'm saying so is that if you look at the situation, the tankers have been controlled by Lagos State government through the effort of LASMA. They've been controlled. If this has not been so, people that are going from Ojuelegba, where we are standing now, to Lagos will not reach Lagos in 2 hours time.
You will recall that the Lagos State government last year September gave an order to trailers, trucks and oil tankers to stay away from Lagos till the traffic gridlock from the ports located in Apapa is rectified. They advised the drivers of those trailers and trucks to park them at Ogiri Trailer Park and others outside the state pending the resolution of the crisis. But today, rather than heed the advice, the tanker drivers have continued to park on the ever-busy Ojuelegba road. These residents speak on the possible way out.
Our integrated system is not perfect yet. We still need to work harder on our integrated transport system. This is what will make people to park their vehicles at home and use public bus. There is somewhere in Ogere that they have been saying that there's a tanker park that can contain more than about 10,000 tankers and what have you. Let them park there. Let there be some communication system. When they have pass, they will come maybe in 10, in 20, they will come to the port, pick whatever they want to pick, and then leave.
They should look for another place, parking space. Or the individual trailer owners should have their own parking, space, like what we have in Capital Oil. Dangote should have his own. Everybody should have his own parking space.
Speaking on this development, the Chief Executive Officer of LASTMA, Chris Olakpe, tasked Lagos residents on patience.
At the level of private-public partnership, the government has given a concession to Dangote Group and flour mills to begin a re-engineering, reconstruction of the Apapa axis, and I believe that once that is done, I think we will have amelioration for the present menace that's going on. The effect can be very damaging. That's why the construction should be hastened so that the vehicles can leave those spots on the bridge where they are. But I believe that in a matter of time, this will be a thing of the past.
Worthy of note is that the current situation has been aggravated due to the current rehabilitation of some major roads of Lagos State. One can only hope that the Lagos State government would sit and find a lasting solution to these tanker drivers parked daily on this road. You're still watching Superscreen's Midday News. We'll take a short break here to bring you business news. Join us again. Welcome back. Now in business world, Senate President Bukola Saraki has insisted that today's deadline given to committees to present their reports on the 2018 budget proposal by the federal government's ministries, departments and agencies will not be extended. Saraki said the Senate will not be held to ransom by the 20 subcommittees that are yet to present their reports to the Committee on Appropriations. He also said the defaulting committees were Defense, Army, Air Force, Navy, Industry, Federal Capital Territory, states and local governments, Culture and Tourism, Petroleum, Downstream and Upstream, the Niger Delta and Sustainable Development Goals. Others are Primary Health and Communicable Diseases, Health, Tertiary Institutions, Third Fund Capital, Market, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, Works, Power, Steel Development, and Metallurgy and National Cooperation and Integration. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NPC, Mekanti Barrow, has urged Nigerians not to buy petrol from any filling station selling above the government-approved pump price of 145 naira per litre. Barrow, who discussed this barely 24 hours after the Department of Petroleum Resources shut an NNPC station in Abuja for selling petrol at 181 naira, alleged that many oil marketers were using the NNPC's name and logo to cheat the public. According to him, the NNPC management has sanitized the supply and distribution of petroleum in the country. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, says the technical suspension on the Oando shares was done in the interest of the markets. Speaking on the development in Abuja, the Acting Director General SEC, Abdul Zubair, explained that before the decision was reached, the management of Oando unions in the company made written submissions for the suspension to be lifted. Zubair maintained that while the suspension of shares from trading on the floor of the NSE was usually for a short period, that of Oando extended beyond the normal period owing to litigation instituted by the shareholders. You will recall trading in Oando shares had been frozen for 6 months after SEC ordered the suspension so as to probe alleged insider trading in the oil company's shareholding structure. And that's it in business news. I'll take another short break. More news for the foreign scene and sports. Join us again.